Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into what has to be one of the most brilliantly meta chapters out there, Chapter 115 of Bibliomancers. Have you ever wondered what would happen if a character could just turn to their author and give them a piece of their mind? Well, that's literally what happens here. The author, Rose, has to negotiate the entire plot of the sequel with her own characters. It's fantastic. So the chapter kicks off with a massive bang. Right out of the gate, we've got the main character from the first book, Jack, and she is furious. She's confronting Rose, her author, about what happened in the last story, pretty much accusing her of sending her to literal hell just because she made one tiny criticism. You can just feel the tension right away. This is not going to be a simple conversation. And yeah, Jack's grievances. She is so ticked off that her first move is to just quit. She refuses to be in the sequel at all. She feels like she's been completely mistreated, and she's come with a whole list of complaints about how her character was written. This isn't just a character whining, you guys. This is a full-on creative showdown between the creation and her creator. And you can see their whole back and forth right here. It's actually a masterclass in how authors justify their choices. For every single complaint Jack throws out, Rose has an answer, and it's always about the craft of writing. Jack says, "You started the story with a cliché dark and stormy night." Rose fires back, "It's not cliché, it's a classic hook. It gets people reading. The nudity? Well, Frida was topless too. The constant jokes about her body from Nyx? Rose argues that's just a biological imperative for demons in her world. She's not being cruel, she's using the tools of her trade." Okay, so Rose realizes that arguing about writing tropes isn't going to get her anywhere, so she pulls the ultimate author trump card. She threatens to just write Jack out of the story entirely and replace her with Jules, an evil twin who would be more than happy to form a throuple with Jack's best friends, Frida and Nyx. Ouch. And faced with, literal narrative death and her friends moving on without her, Jack's loyalty wins. She caves immediately. So Jack agrees to come back, but she's going to try to get at least a little bit of control here. She lays down one last condition. She's like, okay, fine. But can we maybe tone down the gratuitous nudity in this next one? It's her last real attempt to draw a line in the sand for her own story. And this part is just perfect. It shows you exactly who has the power. Rose completely shuts down Jock's last request with this hilarious tongue-in-cheek line about checking with a fictional authors guild. She then doubles down, saying the nudity is absolutely essential for Nyx's character, and even offers to just write Jacques out of those scenes if she's so uncomfortable. And that's it. Checkmate. Jacques is totally outmaneuvered and just gives up. Rose has her protagonist locked in. So, with the main heroes secured, let's see how Rose deals with the rest of the gang. First, she checks in with Frida and Nyx to see what their terms are. And let me tell you, their reactions are a whole different story compared to Jack's. Frida is, well, she's thrilled. She has zero complaints. In fact, she's all in. A new career as the head of a modeling agency? She loves it. Getting to deepen her relationships with Jack and Nyx? Yes, please. All the spicier scenes? Totally comfortable with them. She even says she loved her own topless opening scene, especially because she thought Jack's flustered reaction was so cute. Nyx is on board too. She's excited to get to play both her demon form and her cat form, Nyxie, again. Her only concern is a little more philosophical. She's worried that her moral alignment changed from chaotic evil to just neutral. But Rose explains that's just a natural part of character development. It's kind of hard to commit truly evil acts against people once you actually start to care about them, right? Okay, next up, Rose has a different kind of challenge on her hands, the comic relief character, Groucho. She knows that if he just tells the same old jokes, he's going to get stale and fast. For the sequel to really work, he needs to evolve. So Rose lays out a really clear path for him. First, the kind of harassing jokes towards women. Yeah, that's got to be toned down. It's time to mature a little. Instead, he can focus all that teasing on Jack, which comes across as a much more charming brother-sister kind of dynamic. And in return for this new and improved behavior, he gets a major upgrade. Rose promises he'll finally get to use his super powerful magic staff, giving him a chance to be way more than just the guy with the punchlines. And this leads to Rose dropping some serious wisdom. She tells him, you want to tell jokes, you don't want to become a joke. And that's so crucial, right? For any character, especially a funny one, to last, they have to grow. If they just repeat the same shtick over and over, they stop being a character and just become a caricature. She's basically giving him career coaching on how to stay a fan favorite. All right, the original cast is all locked in and ready to go. Now Rose turns to her final and maybe most important task, recruiting the actual star of the sequel. And what's really cool is how she does this. She doesn't just summon him into her author void. No, she goes to visit the dragon Draco in person, which is a huge sign of respect. She offers him the lead role in a quest to track down the wizard Merlin and figure out the central mystery of what went wrong with their magical tower. And after all the arguments and negotiations with the others, Draco is a breeze. He requires zero convincing. He agrees immediately and sounds genuinely excited about it. And when Rose asks who he wants as his partner for the quest, he picks Jack without a moment's hesitation. He says they have good chemistry and work well together, which is the perfect way to bridge the gap from the first story's hero to the new one. And just like that, the whole cast is assembled. Everyone's aired their grievances, stated their terms, and agreed to play their part. This whole chapter is just this brilliant, self-aware look at the creative process. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. When an author has to literally bargain with their own characters to get a story told, who is really in control?